Hello, Troglodyte tribe. We are back, a live stream, episode number 2, and this time I've learned how to do a logo in the corner. That's exciting, isn't it? How's your week been? Have you, if you're on the chat, if you're in the room and you're watching live, say hello because I can see you then. I can't see who's on if you don't say hi. Hey, NB, this is for you. Right, NB asked me a question in the week and it was to do with Man of the World and the stretch on the D. So we're going to have a look at that today. Have you seen any interesting bands, heard any new music this week that we should know about? If so, share it with us. We're all interested to find new interesting things. I went to see, I was lucky enough to see a band called Talon. They are an Eagles tribute band. They were in their pre-production for their big tour coming up, and poof, mind blown. They were absolutely phenomenal. I can't recommend it enough. If you get a chance to go and see them on the tour, do it. If you like the Eagles, you'll like Talon. Just that's my thought for the week. So let's get into it. Man of the World. I think you can hear my guitar. I'm seeing things go up and down. Okay, so there's the two different elements there you've got on that with the D stretch, okay? So the first time round, at the end of that, it goes, obviously, but the second time, once the words have started, it ends with a, and then you've got this extra bit. So we're going to cover the main element. How do you do that in an alternative way? And we're going to cover how do you do that in an alternative way? And I think that then gets you through the rest of the track. So that stretch is a stretch, right? And particularly if you're standing up, it's one thing sitting down when you've got your elbow around and everything, but if you have your guitar low, that's one of those where you have to kind of bring the neck up or have the guitar pretty high. The main notes that we're trying to pull out on this are the A, the fifth of the D chord, the G, which is the fourth of the D chord, and then the F sharp, which is the major third of the D chord. So when NB asked me about how do you do the alternative, I was looking for different places where those notes are and see if I can get a nice D chord shape around that new position. And there is one. If you put your first finger on the 5th fret on the A note, top E, yeah, and then your little finger on the B string on the 8th fret, there's your G, and then you put your third finger on the 7th fret on the B string, you've now got the 3 notes that we're trying to pull out. Yeah, and you've not had to move anywhere, so the only thing you effectively lose is the slide sound, which if I do it properly, but you know what, that's okay. And then I was like, how do you build the D chord around it? So it's nice to have that open D string because it makes it sound kind of, it has quite a unique sound, doesn't it? So D string open, second finger on the 7th fret on the G string, yeah, third finger on the 7th fret on the B string, and your first finger on the 5th fret on the E string, right? And so there's your ringing sort of pseudo D chord. So the pseudo, it's just like a different voicing of the same chord. Yeah. Now if you do, bring your little finger onto, hold that chord shape, but bring your little finger onto the B string on the 8th fret. Take it off, on, off. There you go. So you've got the same as, but without having to do any kind of weird stretches. So how would that sound in the mix? I would still go down to the open D chord for the end of that phrase. So again, we'll do the alternative at the start and end down there. So then shift it up again. And what's actually quite nice, if you go work your way down to that open D, if you can get like a nice slide into the new alternative D. So I'll do that again. It's quite nice. I like that. Okay, so to go through that once more, we are doing the open D note, then we're doing the 7th fret with your 2nd and 3rd fingers on the G and the B string, and then your 1st finger is holding the 5th fret on the top E, and you're using your little finger to go 8, 7, 8, 7 on the B string. And what's handy is that you're already in position for that A chord next, so it's a really nice, easy transition. You got it? Brilliant. Okay, so just so you know that these comments that I see are about 30 seconds to a minute behind. So if it looks like I'm ignoring you, it's not. It's just a bit of a lag before I get to see it, and then you get to see my response. Brilliant. So the next section is... that sort of weird little run thing that it does. I think it only does it just the once. I can't remember. I haven't played this song for such a long time. So you can kind of work around that same position, but there's 2 ways of doing it. One is the notes are correct, but it's harder to play. Or there's one which the essence is correct and it's easier to play. So it's completely up to you. So I'll go with the notes correct first and see how you get on. I find it a little bit difficult. So we're still in this position over here. But what we're trying to do is, I find the way I can closely get it is with your 2nd finger, cover the G string and the D string on the 7th fret. Yeah? And then with your 3rd finger, do the 7th fret on the B string. Now you could do a bar chord, which is what I'm trying to effectively do. Yeah? But I can't seem to get it cleanly enough. I keep pinching that top A note. So this is why I'm doing this kind of... And I know I want it kind of pinched anyway, but there's a difference between being pinched and not being there. So this is why I'm kind of doing it that way. And then I have my 1st finger, like before, on the top A note. So that's G string, D string, G, up to the top string, and then, like you've done before, 8, 7, but with a twiddle. And then G, D string. So it's... Sorry. Yeah? Now the cheat way is to ignore that low A note and just drop in a D note there. So go back to the shape you were. So actually you're just, instead of doing that note, you're doing a D instead. It works for me, you know. and then, and you're already in position for the next part. So how would that sound? We'll go through it again. So there you go, and that's how you get through the main D sections. Um, Excellent. Hey, I'm glad you like it. So I'm assuming you're there with the guitar in your hands right now. Have you got any questions about that, NB? No, I think we're good. So, like, if anybody else has got questions, just drop them either into the chat or message me during the week. You can contact me by leaving a comment on the YouTube page, or you can jump onto my web page, which is troglodytemusic.co.uk, and there is a contact us page form there. Just fill that in, and if I can answer it, I'll give it a go. But I think this is quite a nice. That's a nice alternative. It doesn't sound too dissimilar at all, especially with that open D ringing out. And it was just amazing how easy it was to jump back to that A chord, because you're just there. So, the other question I've had this week from Sid Grimes. Sid, hello, and thank you ever so much for sending a picture onto the Facebook page of you with your lanyard. That was really nice of you to do. Cheers ever so much. Sid was asking about this Tele Savalis. So, yeah, it's a Telecaster Deluxe. So I'm going to show you. I know it's kind of sad, but when I was younger, let's delete that. When I was younger, there was Lenny Kravitz brought out "Are You Gonna Go My Way," right? And this guy in the background, possibly the coolest guy ever. Look at that hair. He's just always. This was never going to happen. You know, I could never get that. But the guy just was awesome, in my opinion. And he did a great sound. He had that fuzz. And I just loved the look of his guitar. It had the big headstock, which I liked. But it was Telecaster. But it was wide like a Les Paul. And it just seemed to give me all the bits that I really wanted. So I looked into it further. Let's transition onto that. There we go. So when I was many years older, and I was looking around for just a good gigging guitar, I wanted something which I could kind of do a little bit of everything on. I want it kind of dull. I want it really super bright. I want it so I've got full control and balance. And I do like the Les Paul sort of wiring setup for that. I live with this in the middle most of the time, and I balance what I want. Make it super bright. Yeah. Or I can go dull. We always like dull. And it also gave me, if you do flick the pickup to the front, turn the volume up and drop the tone right down, you can kind of get that Speed King, Richie Blackmore. Okay. I like that really kind of muddy, thick sound. But at the same time, you can drop straight back for some chops at the back. It was just a really good, extremely versatile guitar, and I do like to give every guitar some kind of sticker. And when I went into a charity shop and I seen a Tele Savalis record, I was like, you know what, instantly, boom, gotta have that. There it is all over the guitar. And yeah, there it is. It is. What's the title? What is it? It is. Let me get this up. I looked this up earlier for you. It is called a 72 Telecaster Deluxe. It's a Mexican made guitar. It has two Fender wide range humbucking pickups. And it is an alder body. So it's not it's kind of a medium weight, so it's not too bad. I'm not a big fan of the heavy guitars. It's got a C-shaped neck with 21 medium jumbo frets. There you go. But I find it an extremely versatile guitar. It feels solid. It doesn't feel like if you knock it, it's going to sort of fall apart and you're in the middle of a show. But it can kind of do pretty much all the range of sounds that you're likely to need. I like to carry one guitar. I tend not to break strings. I tend to change strings before a show anyway, so they're nice and fresh. And yeah, just it's always been a good workhorse guitar for me. Brilliant. That's great. So if anybody else is there and has got a question or a thought, please let me know. But if that's it for now, I will say have a phenomenal week. Any questions, any thoughts, please do pop them into the comments or onto our contact us page or jump onto Facebook. We're on all those kind of things. And once again, thank you ever so much. Have a great week, and I will see you next time. It might not be next weekend because there's a couple of gigs I want to go to, but it might be the weekend after. I'll put up an early notification now I've learned how to do it. Cheers, Troglodyte Tribe.